well with heroes like Roadhog, like Orisa even. It helps your friends build their ultimates up very quick.
Alright. Warriors, let's see what you can do on this composition. It's another little bit of a change up for them. Us on the Hanzo for the first time.
This is a very solid composition for the first point of this map. There isn't a lot of high ground to contest. Yeah, there's at one piece, but you can always get the suck hook off there. Onto second phase, I think the D.Va is a little bit better than the Roadhog, a little bit safer than the Roadhog, but at the moment, Noz and Modern have the opportunity to almost full hold the Sydney drop bears by themselves if they can execute that suck hook combination over and over again.
Saw the full hold on Volskaya first. Say it can't happen here on Hollywood as well. Sydney drop bears will not be keen to see that, but see what Warriors are going to be able to do
got
here.
The wall out.
Yeah, Shoyo's going to put the defense matrix up there as well, make sure it's an easy job for the wall to go up. But now is where Warriors are going to start to come into their own as they engage the fight. A good hook comes through from Noz, but not enough to find a kill, and now Huss trying to pepper away with those arrows. It's a bit of an awkward position though for Warriors to be playing. They have to continually contest this point. Already 2 ticks have been given over to Sydney drop bears, and now Coalescence coming up such the ult that it is.
Big hold.
That is a very big Coalescence damage. Kraken's going to follow it up. He's doing it all himself. You talk about DPS Moiras in your MM games. Well, here's one in Overwatch Contenders Australia. Kraken has not been healing at all. Just been holding down that right-click button. And that's point A captured.
It is point A captured in not record speed, but very fast speed as they just went in with that Coalescence. Dreamy gets a big hold off and you saw all the damage go out. It does so much damage when everyone's lined up like that. It's unhealable, especially with the composition that the Warriors brought out. They didn't have a Moira themselves. Yeah, the Baptiste does a lot of healing, but not enough. Not at that time. Roro now has the Blizzard though. This is going to be a key for the fight. They need to get this fight out of the way early too, so they can have as many recontests as possible. There's some good sight lines here from Haas. But with these walls coming out from Winter, he's really been cutting off those.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Winter, it's Dreamer as well. The Orisa shield difficult, but once Dreamer's down, once Winter's down, who is there to contest? What is that from Niang? Us says thank you very much. I'm not sure what was going on there.
Well, in the Overwatch League at the moment, you've seen these Reapers go for these crazy TPs, but they don't do it versus Widowmakers or Roadhogs for that exact reason. Get your head taken off very quickly if you're versus a solid Widowmaker player, which Huss has proven to be already.
I mean, quite frankly, it doesn't need to be a solid Widowmaker player. I'm pretty sure I could have hit that shot.
Yeah, probably, but Huss hits the other shots. You saw him take out Winter in that fight previously. It was a very sharp shot from Huss, so if he's on money today, which he looks to be, he had a good moment on Volskaya too.
Well, Blizzard is available for Winter, even though they've been stalled for a moment here. It's going to be another good solid push for Sydney drop bears. Back 6 ultimates if they want it. Supercharger through, as well as self-destruct right on top of the wall. Doesn't catch anything apart from, well, the Bongo and Immortality field, but a couple of the Warriors players have gone down regardless. Niang getting some work done this time on Reaper. Death Blossom is available, but unnecessary for now. The damage is well and truly being done without the ultimate expenditure from Sydney drop bears.
That was a very heavy commitment from the side of the Warriors too. 4 ults, maybe 5 even coming out there. Yeah, it was 5 ults coming out. They managed to lose the fight convincingly too. Now Sydney drop bears, they have the Reaper with the Death Blossom, and if Noz isn't on the money with this defense matrix, he could clean the team up very, very quickly. Jungle Jazz on the Lucio is very susceptible to getting Death Blossom, just because of the way that this Reaper ult works.
Very scary times now for Warriors. It's a pretty impressive time being put forward by Sydney drop bears, and a great wall out from Winter. Does eventually catch Modern. It took a while, but he goes down in the end, and that's really what Warriors would have hoped not to see. Huss needs to turn this one around with a couple more headshots like that. Maybe Noz can do the damage. The self-destruct comes across, and the cap came across as well.
All for naught. D.Va bomb, the Widow headshot, all for naught if you're not on the card. Seen that too many times, especially on this point with the Warriors as well.
I mean, I guess to be fair, Warriors are still stalling the point. Just not where they really wanted it to be stalled. Nonetheless, time is taken off a little bit, but 4 minutes, that's a lot.
4 minutes and ultimate advantage to the side of the Sydney drop bears. We can see a big time bank coming through. Niang hiding in the wings, he's waiting, he's been scouted. Drops down, rakes out, rejoin the boys. Huss has swapped over to the Reaper himself, so he'll be marking Niang a little bit, making sure he doesn't hit him for free.
Gonna get a good Death Blossom out here from Niang. I don't know how easy it's going to be for him to find an angle.
It's a bit difficult on this point, but he can sneak in and he goes to the top rope.
That's literally the only angle he's going to be able to make it work from, and he does actually get the whole Death Blossom off, but defense matrix came up, so did the wall, and Warriors do manage to get out of there unscathed. Now a blizzard thrown in from Winter, and it's caught a lot of the Warriors players. This will be the push that Sydney Drop Bears were looking for. This is much better from them. Had a bit of a stall on Phase B, but Phase C has been absolutely no problem at all. And any worries coming off the back of Volskaya are soon to be dispelled. The Sydney Drop Bears are posting a phenomenal time here on Hollywood. It's just a case of dealing with these remaining players. One gets a bit of a helping hand there by being boosted up on the wall. Won't be finished off. In fact, he's still alive. The Coalescence through from Tongue. And somehow, somewhere, Modern is saying a prayer because I don't know how he survived through that. In the end, he's still here. And he's still contesting the point.
It is swinging back and forward, and getting his death loss. I mean, managed to drop it. There is little Matrix to defend it.
That fortified.
He's still alive, Modern.
Modern is an absolute huge man. I don't know how much longer it's going to last, though, as finally he's finished off by Niang. Huss is here on the Reaper. So is Roro on the Doomfist. But it's just one by one. This is the trickle. This is the death trickle for Warriors. Although you got to give credit to Warriors there. Being able to hold for, I don't know what that was, another 30, 45 seconds. Could be the difference in the end.
35 to 40 seconds is nothing to sneeze at, especially in this meta when everybody is on a stall hero, essentially. You see the Mei and the Reaper come out. They're really difficult to dislodge, but they managed to do it. I thought for a moment there they were going to turn that fight, but ended up getting 2 picks back the way. And now we find ourselves in a position where Sydney Drop Bears have a big advantage. Managing to get only the one clean fight really on that second or third phase meant that they were getting so much time into that last little parking spot that you see as with bullets riddle the map. But you don't see many bullet holes here. Oh, okay, maybe there are a few. But anyway, you didn't see many there because they just didn't manage to get those clean fights off. On Hollywood, you can get so many fights on this map if you die at the right point, if you give up the fights at the right point, if you reset at the right point. Unfortunately, the Warriors, they didn't manage to do any of that. Now they find themselves up against the big time bank.
It's perhaps another case of Sydney Drop Bears doing what they failed to do on Volskaya, being able to get a good time on their attack. I mean, they didn't get any points on their attack at all on Volskaya, but what they're going to be looking to do is what Warriors did to them on Volskaya and try to hold here early, put a spanner in the works and put a bit of pressure on for the rest of the map.
I think that's Trill's new car. I think Dallas Fuel hooked him up with that one. Got the number plates, I'm rich on the back.
I would like that car.
Yeah, well, maybe little Ash can give you a test drive or something sometime.
Yeah, next time I'm over in America.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide you are.
Hasn't been somewhere that I've been for a while. Smash, a couple of years. Well, here comes Warriors.
It's been a couple of years since the roster changes. Well, actually, it's been a couple of months. But Huss, he gave up the opportunity of being on the top, well, the Sydney Drop Bears team to join this Warriors roster, and it might pay a bit of payback from the side of the Sydney Drop Bears today if they manage to get the W.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a storyline?
They have moved over to this McCree and Hanzo, in fact, so no Mei for the side of the Warriors. We saw the McCree come out when they were versing the Sombra and the Wrecking Ball. We saw it as well for the shield break on the second point of Volskaya, so this is a composition they are favouring, going against this bunkering composition that Sydney Drop Bears have made themselves very familiar with so far in this series.
Looking to break the Orisa shield here, Roro and Huss using their damaging abilities straight into that. Starting to see some positioning being taken by Warriors. However, Noz goes low. Defense metrics up will keep him safe for the moment, but to slow things down just a little bit. Oh. That is huge damage from Roro. The back of the amplification matrix. And the rest of Warriors will follow on up. Sydney Drop Bears just not able to get theirs up in time. Now it only comes across for Fluoro. So it hasn't been used just yet and probably won't be used now either.
Yeah, the Hanzo through that matrix does so much damage, and Roro is just hitting shots left, right, and center. That's the little chess match that you have to play at the moment. We saw Sydney Drop Bears managing their cooldowns well. The shield would go down, the wall would go up. The wall would go down, the shield would go up. And when that little period of time in between those, you saw the lamp getting dropped from Fluoro. So they were managing their cooldowns well, but there was just too much damage from the side of the Warriors. And now we have ultimate advantage going into this next phase, but can Huss find room to use this Deadeye? It can be very difficult. He's getting picked off very early.
Yeah, I was going to say that's going to be difficult. So that's a small win for Sydney Drop Bears, and it actually is going to allow them a good solid hold here, right under the gate that teams on the defense do look for.
It's actually quite a big win, just because, as you mentioned, the hold here is so pivotal. It means they can get as many as 3 fights off in this phase, and that can take a lot of time off the clock. But Tongue manages to answer back with Shoyo. So the boys on the Warrior side, they are rolling through now as Sydney Drop Bears looking to give up a little bit more space.
I'm not sure how that's all gone wrong for Sydney Drop Bears. The lamp goes up. That was from jungle, but fortunately it goes down straight away and Roro will fall. The Blizzard was invested there by Winter, so was Transcendence from a Kraken and the Bongo from Dreamer. So pretty much everything that Sydney Drop Bears had available to them has now been used to force Warriors back. But Warriors are just going to recontest this fight.
This is going to have to be a big lamp here from Fluoro, or maybe a Dragon Eat, because this Dragon can do a lot of damage in this area. Kraken doesn't have the Transcendence to deal with it. If Modern can find a Halt here that catches a few, that Dragon's going to come out and be angry.
It is an angry Dragon, and can it find anything to munch on?
The field is perfectly placed underneath that shield. There was nothing there that Roro could do to catch them off guard, or catch the shield, or catch the little lamp.
The Immortality field.
Well played to Fluoro there. It's exactly what you needed.
Well, it's the second time we've given him props for the lamp. To be fair, if you're not making the lamp work as a Batiste, what's the point of even picking him?
Certainly is the most valuable ability on that hero, as we see Huss going for a flank, getting shut down by Shoyo. I mentioned that he's very good at finding these 200 HP heroes and blowing them up.
Well, that's not good from Winter at all. Roro with the Storm Arrows tracking him perfectly. Modern's one shot. And this time you won't be able to do any escape acts. Chased straight down by Dreamer and Shoyo, who will continue to chase forward onto Tongue. This is a much better hold from Sydney Drop Bears than what we saw on point A.
And they have fantastic ults too. They have 6 coming up. How did they win that fight without spending a single ult? Warriors back against the wall now. They need to win this next fight, or maybe the one after, otherwise they're going to be in a struggle position to try and cap out with time. Trying to a new little angle. Huss has been spotted on the flank, so they know he's there. Watch Shoyo, he might go for him straight away.
Oh, he is. Huss has done a lot of damage to Niang. Shoyo dives straight on in, that's good, and he actually blocks the flashbang with his defense matrix as well. But Huss somehow survives, gets some good healing from his team.
In a dangerous position. He's going for this high noon, but he's got caught by Niang in the back.
Yeah, that's big plays with the Storm Arrow. This will be the go signal now for Sydney Drop Bears. They know that they have the 5v6. They'll look to punish Warriors even more, as they have been doing quite extensively here. Breaking the Immortality field, but Roro with the Dragon Blade, rather the Dragon Strike, is going to catch Shoyo.
The Dragon Arrows, we see a Kraken committed his Transcendence, but now Tongue answers in turn. Winter has the freeze available though, so it could come back to bite them.
Self-destruct won't do any damage at all. Sydney Drop Bears were very safe. Huss he's got the Widowmaker, but Winter apparently is a better sniper.
Dangerous times for Warriors. How are they probably feel like at the moment, how are we going to break this hold? Sydney Drop Bears have just been rotating the architecture very well, hiding in houses, running away, not getting caught by these big combo ultimates, the May Freeze, the Dragon Strike from Roro. Just all of it has just come up for nothing so far. Even the Diva Bombs haven't been able to catch any value.
And there's another pick. Just another 10, 15, 20 seconds wasted of Warriors' time, which is time that they can't be affording to waste right now. Only a minute left. And they've barely pushed into Phase B at all, not to mention the fact that there's a 2-minute 17 time bank that Sydney Drop Bears have. I don't think Warriors is going to catch that at all. If I'm Warriors right now, best case scenario, I'm looking at a draw. If they even push through, they might finally be able to do that, having found the kills onto a Kraken and Dreamer. It's Tongue and Huss, both with headshots. Waiting for that supercharger to disappear before they push on in.
Niang has got the Dragon Strike. Will he commit it? I don't think he should commit it, but he is going to. He's feeling brave. Shoyo probably wasn't expecting it the way he passed there. It's more time off the clock, and Sydney Drop Bears reinforcements are coming in. Oh, Huss finds a gap, a millimeter gap, but Winter finds the millimeter gap back. Puts him in a coffin. It's no mercy, whereas Huss is going to be late back to the fight if he comes back at all. 17 seconds. He's going to have to get his running shoes on, because Warriors need every ounce of strength that they can muster to win here on Hollywood. He does give his team the infra sight, so now they can see what angles they're coming from, where the defenders are placed. Shoyo dropping very low. Doesn't have the Dreamer. Dreamer very low too. The Transcendence committed on top of the lamp.
Well, it's a big trance out from a crack, and it was a necessary one. Everyone was low, but hasn't been used too early. Winter's looking for a Blizzard here, but the defense matrix is still something to keep in mind.
Tongue has Transcendence too. Will he commit it onto this? Yes, he will.
He gets it right down onto the point, but the Blizzard is going to force Warriors back just a little bit. It's a scary time, but they do manage to keep contesting for overtime. Fluoro going to lose his lamp, but so will Jungle, and Modern then drops as well, but quickly Huss, Roro, they answer back. We're looking for more from the snipers of Warriors. They continue to push forward. Self-Destruct is now out on the point, and Dreamer is the last man standing here. The City Drop Bears, he won't last long. Not against the onslaught of Warriors. There's time for City Drop Bears to get one more defense here on point B if they're quick.
Winter with the Tracer swap, he's looking like he wants to do it, but might not be worth it at this point. Yeah, he chooses just give it up. We've got a lot of space to work with at the moment. Let's just use this space.
Yep.
They can get some early fights off here.
They know that they have the time advantage. In fact, there's someone contesting at some point.
Not quite sure.
Hello. What's going on? There we go. Waiting for the doors to open. It looked like there was some contesting because it said 0.01.
Yeah, it definitely did.
It was a bit confusing.
Tricked me too, but Warriors now only with the Robo Dragon Strike to come through.
Now the situation here for Warriors is they need to get this done in less than a minute because they need time available. Otherwise, draw is the best case scenario.
That's a good way to start.
That is the perfect way to start. Dragon Strike from Roro. Well, we can talk about Dragon Blade all we like, but eat your heart out. 2 from Dragon Strike and you'll be happy. Niang back in response though. Winter's turning it as well, and for Warriors it was the perfect start, but they fumbled the mid-fight. And unfortunately, I think any chances now of winning the map have disappeared, even though they were slim.
They were very slim, but now it's all about finishing and catching that draw, which in this format is basically a map that never played.
Yeah. Well, catching a draw even from here is going to be very difficult for Warriors. Holt comes through from Dreamer. Now Niang with his own Dragon Strike, and that's going to catch 2 as well. Lots of values coming from the Hanzo ultimates. And with 16 seconds on the clock, Warriors are scrambling away to their spawn, trying desperately to get one more fight in. But it's going to be an awful fight, that's for sure. They're going to have to rush the point.
It's going to be an odds and sods fight too. They don't have the best ultimates to combo. It's going to be Noz's Diva Bomb is the only thing really that's going to be aggressive, and he's going to get frozen out of his mech straight away.
Now the Blizzard goes across. Noz is at least able to contest, so is Modern. Self-Destruct has to do something big here for Warriors. Noz is going to invest it all of City Drop Bears back away, bar Dreamer, who eventually gets picked up, and Us! He just doubles down, and Kraken and Winter go bye-bye.
Us on these hit scan heroes has been deadly today. Still not enough. Winter on the side of the Sydney Drop Bears has been my star player so far. He's been getting so much value out of these May ults, getting so much value out of these May plays.
Can Warriors force this one through to the time bank, or is City Drop Bears going to force us to a 2-1 lead?
I'd back the Warriors in with the ultimates they have. Roro's Dragon Strike is coming up, and Tongue with that Transcendence. It's going to be an ultimate that there is no counter to.
Roro looking for that sound barrier. He's at 85%. Shoyo with the Self-Destruct. Those could be some really impactful ults. And not to mention Coalescence from a Kraken doesn't take too long to charge at all. In fact, he's jumped up 20% in the time it took me to say the sentence. A 1-for-1 trade, both of the main tanks out of the picture. Now sound barrier down to keep Shoyo alive a little longer. But it's going to be the Self-Destruct. It's going to be more important. Coalescence catches Huss. And I think this might be the end of the road for Warriors on Hollywood. They're going to look towards Escort to bring this series back to a 2-2, but it's Sydney Drop Bears that are now on match point.
And Elfish, Escort has been a place where Warriors have not found that much success this season. They've dropped a lot of Escort maps. I'm worried if I'm a Warriors player right now because they look good, the Sydney Drop Bears. They look like they're confident and they're in charge of what compositions they're playing, and they know how to execute them well. Looks like Niang's Hanzo has lifted a lot from when we last saw it.
Yeah, imagine going 5 weeks in a row, not dropping a single match as Warriors. You're up 5-0. It's looking like first place in the season is all yours. Week 6 and 7, you drop 2 matches. You're down into 4th place. And now you have to play the team that essentially knocked you into 4th place for a place in the semi-finals. And Sydney Drop Bears are just rising up, essentially. There's no better way to put it, is there? I mean, I know it's a bit of a meme, but, like, honestly, they were shocking at the start of the season. And all of a sudden, in weeks 5 and 6, and now into playoffs, they have looked unstoppable.
They've gotten better with age. And Shoyo mentioned on a podcast I was with him, whatever words, that the longer they played together, the more comfortable they felt, and they finally found their right compositions to play where they could enable their players like Winter, like Niang, to really get value out of them. Before then, they were just forcing goats. There was no value being taken out of Winter and Niang, so props on them and props on the coaching staff for discovering what works for them and what doesn't. And at the moment, this Winter May is working wonders.
I think props for sticking through it during the season as well. I mean, a 0-4 to Mind Freak, not what you would have wanted. Well, dropping to Order, definitely. Dropping to Ground Zero. I mean, all these kinds of results for Sydney Drop Bears are a change from the norm. given that all the roster changes occurred, and I mean they've stuck to it really. Obviously there was that one roster change from week 1 to week 2, but to my understanding, Niang was always the player that they wanted. They just didn't get him there in time. Felons was more of a fill-in for week 1, and this roster has slowly but surely improved for Sydney Drop Bears, and now it's time to really put Warriors in the bin, isn't it? And I think for Sydney Drop Bears in particular, it's kind of like a case of put Huss in the bin, because like Huss dogged the boys.
Huss did dog the boys.
Now the boys are dogging Huss.
Yeah, now the boys are gatekeeping Huss away from playing on Melbourne Esports Open's grand stage, which is something that, as a Melbourne player, he would be pretty desperate to play on too.
Yeah, he wasn't there last year either. So that's going to be a big storyline if Sydney Drop Bears do end up winning here. Next map, obviously, Escort. You mentioned that's been a problem in the past for Warriors. They've never won on Rialto. They've only won once on Dorado. Havana's been a little bit better for them. But it still could be a pretty scary prospect going forward here. And again, we look back at that map tally between these two teams. 5-1 now for Sydney Drop Bears.
It is 5-1, and I think the reason why they won that Havana game previously was from Huss's Widow popping off. And I remember the Dorado game too was a very, very tight one versus Atletico. They could have dropped that very easily too. So I think Havana is the logical choice here. Is logic going to come into it? Don't know yet.
Well, you've been pretty right with all your calls so far, and
I'm a genius.
Logic would dictate, you know, if we've got the information, the players, the teams, and the coaches and the staff should all have that information as well. They should be tracking these maps and saying, okay, how are we performing, and how are things looking in scrims, all that kind of stuff. In fact, they probably have more of a data set than we do. We only get to watch what's on the screen.
You'd hope so, yeah. No, but I think Havana is a safe pick. It enables that double sniper, much like Volskaya. There are the high grounds to play around. There's also those longer sight lines that Warriors are going to want to play. They can also play the Pharah above the roof of the first point hold, and that can get a lot of time off the clock. We've seen teams use that.
Get Roro on Pharah.
Especially getting Roro on Pharah would be a big bonus. Getting Huss on Widow, Roro on Pharah, that's what you want to be if you're a Warriors fan.
Yeah, but still looking at Warriors and Sydney Drop Bears as teams that we may see into, well, we'll definitely see one of them into the semi-finals and may see into Melbourne Esports Open in the grand finals. I'm still not sold on either of these teams just yet. I'm not getting that same feeling that I have in previous seasons when I've been watching playoffs and I've been watching semis and I've been saying, yeah, I know who's going to win. Like, I almost know who's going to win the grand final before it even starts. I think last season, 100%. Season 3 for me was the biggest toss-up, where Sydney Drop Bears ended up beating Order here at ESL Australia Studios. But Season 2, we all knew Sydney Drop Bears was going to win. Season 1 was a bit different. I wasn't at Season 1 finals, though, so maybe I don't have much of a say in that matter.
Didn't miss much. Yeah,
but at this point, you know, like, I'm kind of... It literally could be any of the teams that are left in playoffs actually lifting that trophy at Melbourne Esports Open, which is not something that I would have said in the previous seasons. Like, it sounds pretty far-fetched for me to say, okay, well, Atletico could still win this season, but quite frankly, I think there's a world in which Order doesn't perform later on tonight. Maybe Ground Zero doesn't have a great semi-final against them. And then in the grand final at Melbourne Esports Open, maybe, let's say Sydney Drop Bears gets there, let's say Mindfreak gets there, one of those two teams chokes.
Yeah,
hey, Atletico's your winners. And you would have been like, that's impossible. But look, it's improbable, that's for sure.
It's improbable, yeah.
But it's definitely a possibility, which I would never have said in previous seasons. Like, can you imagine saying, like, oh, Serenity could win Melbourne Esports Open in Season 2?
No, I definitely wouldn't have said that.
It's definitely not on the same caliber of saying Atletico could win.
No, it definitely isn't. I mean, Atletico are probably the least likely, but there's still a chance there. Especially if they can have a good performance today versus Order. That's going to go a long way. Another grudge match, Merit versus old team.
It's a beautiful situation for us, isn't it? Because with that kind of a comment saying, okay, even Atletico could win this season, you really demonstrate the tightness of this group, the tightness of this Overwatch Contenders season, and how close everything has been.
It's been a very rocky road for all the teams. No team has had it comfortable at all. We all thought Warriors had it pretty comfortable when they were sitting at 5-0, but then they hit the speed bump. Let's talk about the map of Dorado, though. Curious choice. Huss will play Widowmaker here. Roro will play Pharah to start off with. I think he'll stay on it too. There isn't much hit scan to deal with him on the enemy team of the Sydney Drop Bears. Surprising it wasn't Havana, to be honest. And maybe they've missed a step here, because Sydney Drop Bears, this could be a good playground for them, especially if they can just have a strong first hold here, moving on to that second. Very dangerous. But Huss's Widow is exceptional, and this is a map he has carried me on at LAN before, so will he carry the Warriors this time?
Roro's definitely going to be another factor, another threat. First time this series we get to see him on fire, which is the hero that we've sort of trademarked him on.
Shoyo's all over him already though. He's dropping very low. He's going to go down, I believe.
But that's drawing Shoyo away from the rest of the team, and that'll allow Roro more ability to do damage. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to have worked out too nicely for Warriors. Roro's only built up 47% of the barrage, not his quickest charge, that's for sure.
No, they're not stacking up, so it's not worth it. Shoyo managing to find Huss. I mentioned in the pregame that Shoyo's very good at doing that. He doesn't let people get around on flanks very often. Very smart player. This is his big brain that he has. They are watching for it. They're watching for Huss to come over that wall, trying to get those angles.
Storm Arrow being spammed in by Niang.
It's going to be very difficult for Huss if he doesn't get those angles too, because of the Orisa shield, because of the Diva Matrix. And now we see the Amplification Matrix already drop from Fluoro, but they've all walked away from it.
Yeah, nothing really coming from that. It's 1 HP. Winter gets low as well. The heals have to come across here, but they don't come across quickly enough for Fluoro. Huss, good damage, and now it's Rocket Barrage time. Roro, he'll get Winter before being taken down. It's a 2-for-1, all things considered for Warriors, which is a win. It's a minor win, but it's a win nonetheless.
Losing the Baptiste means that these heroes aren't going to be healed up very quickly, and Warriors can push in there now and stagger them out if they're aggressive enough. They have to be careful. Shoyo getting dropped out of the mech by a headshot from Huss. Transcendence comes out, but will it be enough? Huss gets the kill onto Shoyo. He's out of the fight.
Beamer's doing a good job of just contesting his card in a very safe position. Dragon strike through. I'm not so sure what's going on here, but Warriors have almost run into it. Holt across from Dreamer. Now the same from Modern.
Nice Maywall to cut them all off. This is eking time off the clock. We're down to 1:41 already. We haven't even seen anything come online from Warriors. We haven't seen the big Diva Bomb. We saw 1 nano boost, didn't get any value. Worrisome signs for the Warriors. This next fight has to go well, otherwise things are going to be struggling. And Winter's got that important May ultimate that he's been so good with today already. Show us what you got, Huss. One for the road, big fella. What have you got?
Well, might be the last we see of him this season of Contenders. So, hoping that he goes out with a bang, if he goes out at all. But I suppose if there is a bang, we probably don't see Warriors going out, and they may go through to a 5th map, so...
They're very aware now, they might have the Sonic Arrow on him. And Niang takes him out straight away.
Not how you want to start this fight off, but Roro able to salvage it for a moment. Self-destruct was perfectly placed though. There was no way Roro was getting out of that one, and now Blizzard through from Winter. This is going to be the reinforcements. The cavalry have arrived for Sydney Drop Bears. Winter gets his wall up safely behind that one. Self-destruct not going to cause any damage at all, and Niang still here spamming away with that Hanzo. Almost has Dragon Strike available. Roro swapped over to Genji, Hasta swapped over to Tracer, so we're back to almost dive. Modern just needs to jump onto the Winston, and we've got that one locked up in spades. But unfortunately now for Warriors, it just looks like a bit of a here or there composition.
It's a dangerous game the Warriors are playing. They have to contest, and Side of Sydney Droppers know where they are, but Huss can be taken out in one shot by that Winter Isis with the right click, and the Amplification Matrix goes down. Who knows what's going to happen? Roro's in position to get a dash through the team.
There's Transcendence available for a Kraken, so no one should be dropping early here for Sydney Drop Bears. Tung is looking to build himself up a nano boost, and has got that, but who do you throw it on? I mean, at this point, Roro's down. I'm not even sure who you're going to put the nano boost on.
Boosted.
It's
What's he going to do?
The Tracer. Exactly. What are you going to do? Especially through the Transcendence. And Kraken's healing everyone up. There's no chance Huss is going to get a pick here. That's a good sleep dart onto Niang. Maybe that's a saving grace, but no one from Warriors is really in position to deal the damage. And unfortunately, all Warriors, Niang bounce around the corner, survive. Winter doing so much work here, putting the wall back up. Holt comes through there.
That's a big anti.
Oh, that's a 4-man anti. But there is a lamp. There's a lamp for Sydney Drop Bears, so they should be okay. And now finally, we start to see the picks coming across for both sides. Winter gets another wall up. I mean, this is just a crazy fight. What on earth am I looking at this point?
Looks like the Warriors might be able to go through. Huss gets the double kill on the bomb. The Tracer player coming up clutch.
Sydney Drop Bears. Pressure situation. That was the semi-finals placed right in front of them.
Will it come back to bite them too? The dive swap from the side of the Warriors was cute. They panicked. They wanted to get back in time. And Huss pops off on the Tracer. Roro now playing the Hanzo. We've gone to double sniper. He's got off the Reaper, off the Doomfist, off the Pharah. Wants to play the sniper. He wants to go one-on-one with Niang.
Well, now you'd be thinking in the back of your head as Sydney Drop Bears. Could have held point A. Could have essentially had a win here on Dorado. I mean, it's definitely not a locked-in thing, but would have looked pretty good. But given an inch, perhaps Warriors will take a mile. Huss starts off well, Roro follows up. Double sniper starting to come into effect here for Warriors. And that is not the kind of fight that you want to be seeing for Sydney Drop Bears right after having such a stoic hold on point A. If they get rolled here in phase B,
what a shame that will be.
Momentum straight back there for Warriors.
That was barely even a fight. Huss just hits the grapple shot. Roro gets another headshot and the fight's over. There is no fight. Have good ultimates on the side of Sydney Drop Bears, but how are they going to choose to use them? They need to break down and get this May ult into play. But even then, you're going to be using it on what? Everyone's so split on the side of the Warriors. They're in perfect position to deal with these ultimates.
Struck's going to be used to start the fight on both sides, it looks. Noz gets the better of it. Huss is able to finish off Shoyo as he got DMAC as well. This is, oh, well, this is all going wrong for Sydney Drop Bears, isn't it? They had such an opportunity in front of them. But now you're just holding your head in your hands thinking, not like this.
A Kraken's been spotted. He's going to get chased and split spawn too. There's more time off the clock. Dreamer swapped over to the Wrecking Ball. Winter over to the Tracer. This is to deal with these double snipers, but it looks like people are already going back on the side of the Warriors.
Well, I don't know that you want to be running double sniper into phase C.
It's not the best. There are a lot of angles to play around, but there's also a lot of cover for the defenders. There's a lot of short angles as well, where players can dive on top of you straight away.
The Warriors were going to change. They would have changed by now, so they're committed to it. Self-destruct is going to catch Shoyo. What can the rest of Sydney Drop Bears do? They'll push on forward. Bongo goes down, but that's not too big of a factor. Goes on to Huss, but again, Sydney Drop Bears have got a huge numbers advantage here, although Huss might be able to bring that one back, having difficulty dealing with Sombra Tracer, however.
They're so low on the side of the Warriors. Noz gets taken out of his mech, but they keep trading and trading, and Shoyo eats the dragon. That was important. That looked like a big one coming out from Roro.
Always hard to tell with the dragons, though. Sometimes it looks like it could be great, and everyone just runs away from it.
Xingyang on his key Sombra here too. Huss moves it over to the Tracer. It's going to be quite difficult. He needs to isolate Squishy with that Tracer pick. What's going to happen? Who knows? Noz is still out of this mech and they choose to go on him straight away. Tongue gets clattered though.
Yeah, Winter's building up that pulse bomb. Is he going to use it here or does he save it for the next fight? I suspect next fight will be the answer. He's just doing an absolute number onto Roro and Jungle. 2v1s them essentially.
The kid's good.
He has got some pretty solid aim, that is for sure.
Noz gets hacked up and he'll be staggered out too. He'll have to take it off the map with 30 seconds remaining. This will be the last fight. Huss moves over to the Reaper, Roro to the May, so this is more of that death ball composition. Very difficult to play Tracer into. Winter getting value off this pulse bomb is going to be difficult. He needs to stick jungle, I think. That's the only one he can really kill.
Well, if he catches the Warriors with their cooldowns.
He's swapped off, and this is clever because Nying has the EMP, so if Nying can catch Mod before he uses his Fortify, or he can catch Noz, he can shred them almost instantly with that Reaper.
Oh, well, Nying hasn't been too solid on the Sombra today. We cast our minds back to Volskaya. See what he can do here to make amends for it on Dorado. Pile driver through from Dreamer. Does connect, but not too much damage off the back of that. Self-destruct goes in as well. Oh, Shoyo's done it himself. The EMP, I think, might have helped out, but regardless, it was the self-destruct that did the damage, and now Winter is free to just run forward with the Reaper. It's overtime ticking for Warriors. And I think that is not going to last too long here at all. Sydney Drop Bears, a very clean fight win for them, and finally knocking Warriors over. But if I'm a Sydney Drop Bear, I'm thinking could have been point A.
They've given themselves an opportunity, the side of the Warriors. Yeah, it hasn't been clean, and they probably would have wanted to full cap the map, but after that disastrous first point, they've managed to get some ground and something they can defend. How will they choose to defend it though? Will they choose to bunker up, play the May Reaper, play the standard meta? Will they choose the double snipers? I think the double snipers on second, you saw how much value they could get out with those really long sight lanes you can create for yourself, but on first and third, not as strong. Sydney Drop Bears are inching themselves closer to that date with Mindfreak next week. And it's a date they'll fancy themselves in too. They really seem to find themselves at the back end of this season, and that's when it matters.
Well, a good opportunity for revenge if that were the case, as they were the losers in the matchup between Drop Bears and Mindfreak earlier on in the season. 0-4 actually. A bit of a pounding that Mindfreak gave Drop Bears, but this is definitely a different looking Drop Bears than what we saw in week 3.
Certainly is a different looking Drop Bears. Warriors, they will go for that Pharah and the Widow. This This is different, I'd say that. I don't think a lot of teams will be playing this overseas, but in Australia we have these Pharah players that do love a bit of it. Winter on the Widowmaker. That's not going to stay that way for very long. I don't think Nyang will be pleased with that. It could do though, he could take a shot and swap Mei. That's what I'm thinking. Warriors are going to need to get Roro on the flank, avoiding these sight lines, avoiding Shoyo's Diva if you're going to get any value out of it. If you're going to get any closer to that Mind Freak match next week.
See what Sydney Drop Bears can do. They'll feel it. Here's the possibility. Point. Just need to hold here, to hold strong. Cannot allow Sydney Drop Bears to get even close to finishing it. Off. Sydney Drop Bears, though, a couple of times. The pressure seems to have gotten to them in this series on Volskaya, and then here on point A of Dorado defense.
And this is the duel. This is the Nyang vs Huss Widow duel we spoke about earlier. Is Nyang hot today or is he cold? Huss is hot. Nyang's going to have to fill big shoes to answer him this matchup.
Tell me how you really feel about Huss.
I think he's a bloody brilliant player. Very unlucky to miss out on the 7 for the World Cup this year.
Indeed.
He will know where Nyang is now. He knows where both the snipers are, and he's going to have to face them alone as Roro is in the sky.
Well, so far I haven't seen any connections from Huss, but it does feel like it's more of a matter of time than anything else. Holt comes across to try and give him an angle, but really the targets that he wanted anyway.
It's a
Kraken catches Roro. It's a better start for Sydney Drop Bears as they begin their escapades.
Big anti-nade will push. It will stop this push in its tracks. Huss cleaning up with body shots. They're not going to get the res off though. They've mucked themselves up quite well. But another anti-nade comes in and Tung's taking him out with it.
Yeah, Dreamer also has been turned purple, so no chance of kills on him. That'll make an easy kill in the end for Modern.
I take back what I said about Huss. He just SMG'd in a Widow duel. What a coward. But I can understand there is a lot on the line at the moment. Warriors now 2 minutes into their first hold. It's a point which is tricky to take. The key thing for me is that how low is Shoyo on that Diva Bomb? It looks like he won't only get one to play with. So he needs to make the most of it. He has been shutting down Roro very well though. Nyang wins the duel versus Huss on the first go. Rez comes through though. Back to even.
Oh, so res that's not available for the rest of this fight. Can Sydney Drop Bears take advantage of it? Perhaps not with Shoyo being demeched and now taken down. Roro. It's halted back into an awkward position, but he's sealed up okay. Sydney Drop Bears also finding it very difficult to push through point A.
Fumbling the bag at the moment. Not getting the key picks that they want. They're not getting the pressure out. They're not getting the sight lines. They need to get a combo off here. Maybe a Holt into a Dragon Strike. That will be the thing that pushes them over the line. There's no Baptiste. There's no Zenyatta on the side of Warriors. So they can be picked apart by this pretty easily if they miss position at all.
Oh, that's a nice shot from Nyang. You wouldn't want to be Roro in a situation like that. Rez is available. You can hear it.
He's been hot today, but it hasn't mattered so far, Nyang. He's got those 2 clean headshots, but they've just been rezzed.
Dragon Strike doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but does provide some space for Sydney Drop Bears to push forward. Nyang catches Huss again. That is not resable. Roro looking for damage with the Dragon Strike. Again with the Dragon Strike. I don't know why I keep doing it. It's the Rocket Barrage, of course, but he only gets the demech onto Shoyo, so really it doesn't matter in the end what he's using. It hasn't had that much of an impact.
Noz getting pushed out here, and Blue might get sucked back into the bomb. He does. Shoyo takes out Roro. This is a fight leading towards the Sydney Drop Bears as Nyang starts turning up.
Gonna get some damage around the shield, but can't find the angles that he wants. Goes high in the air. It's Winter this time that is able to dispatch of him. A bit of time bought from the self-destruct. Noz will be able to recontest as well. Modern is being pressured out quite heavily though by Sydney Drop Bears. He'll find himself back in the spawn room. Shoyo starting to do some damage. Tongue falls as well. Winter can't quite calibrate his aim.
Doing a little bit more than damage. Shoyo taking out 3 there, cleaned it up. They do cap just before overtime, but they haven't left themselves a lot to play with here. They're going to need an equally fast push through this second phase, or they're going to struggle onto that third. And they don't have the perfect ultimates, and Huss has answered Nyang immediately. Don't think that's resable either. There's no mercy on the side of Sydney Drop Bears. They do swap off to the Zenyatta and the Mercy to benefit their double snipers with the Discord Orb and the Mercy damage boost. Very frustrating getting one shot by a body shot out of a Widowmaker. It's possible here as a Dragon Strike goes through. Did nothing.
I was trying to split the Warriors' defense apart, but no one got caught on the wrong side of it. Us catches Niang, so it's a bit of a revenge. Flora get the res here.
Wouldn't want to go for it, but Shoyo is marking him now. He's still not going to go for it?
Doesn't look like it. Might have timed out, but regardless, City Droppers will be forced back for the moment. Dreamer ends up giving up his life.
We see some really powerful ultimates coming up on the side of the Warriors, the Diva Bomb being the one that I'm looking at. A Halt into Diva Bomb could put pay to a push very quickly. Sydney Droppers swap over to their dive-based composition with the Sombra and the Wrecking Ball. Winter goes over to the Tracer as well.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
They've got to go fast, and this is what the comp's built around, going fast.
12 on the clock here for Sydney Drop Bears, so to make something work in the next fight, or they'll have time for one more after this. Warriors have been really harassing them on the entries so far.
What can we see here? The angles are perfect for this double sniper, and it's already paid off.
Roro goes low, there's a good trade back from Warriors all of a sudden. Where has that come from? Niang, Shoyo, Dreamer, they're all involved. Self-destruct now from Shoyo as well. It's going to force Noz and Modern off the high ground, straight into their deaths. And the frying pan into the fire, heard that before, but
they just didn't have the setup on the double snipers. They needed to split themselves up so they're on different walkways. Give Flura an opportunity to Guardian Angel across, but they didn't do it. They got stacked up and they got punished. Now Warriors swapping over to a more mobile composition themselves. What are they going to be able to get out of these swaps though?
So, trying to do some big damage on the Tracer. Going to be difficult though. He does recall back and now he's going to have a second helping here. It's like second breakfast. The stick on a tongue. There's nothing he can do about that one. He'll be down out of this fight. Self-destruct from Noz. Not able to do the damage that he needs onto Sydney Drop Bears. It's seeming to be. And we'll go through into phase C once again. Double kill out from the minefield for Dreamer. You don't see that every day.
Minute 30 to capture the point. They've got the EMP coming through too. This is in the Sydney Drop Bears' hands. Winter's Tracer's been kind of nutty today. He's been nasty on that thing. I didn't expect him to be so clean on it, but
yeah,
here we are in third phase because of that Winter Tracer.
Well, 1 minute and 8 seconds, 62 meters to gain.
Going to be a one-fight situation into this EMP.
Well, not fun at all for Warriors, and they've got nothing to counter it out. But Sydney Drop Bears, they must execute here. 4 connected with the EMP. Shoyo catches Modern early, and this might be Sydney Drop Bears now stamping their ticket into the semi-finals, which are looking to push forward. Bit of a risky relocation, but he'll get it off okay. Now he's been hacked on up, and he's over there. Maybe overcommitment there from Winter. Roro will go down, however, so it's a trade of Reapers. Huss has an EMP, but it only catches Shoyo. Now with the numbers advantage, though, for Warriors, and the respawn advantage maybe for Warriors as well. Sydney Drop Bears, I don't know that they've done enough here.
Dreamer's mines are coming up, and we saw him get a 2k before. This is a point where they're very easy to run into.
The bridge, though, the bridge is the problem. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to get a good minefield off. He does throw it down. That's actually a great one. Tung goes bouncing on up. So did Jungle, in fact. It's going to be killing 2. Everyone. He gets 2. And then the D-Mech as well from Dreamer. I mean, you're exactly right. He got everyone. And he's going to be the one that pushes Sydney Drop Bears through to the semi-final. I thought it wasn't possible. I thought that the minefield was going to be too difficult to get off. But everyone just clumped up for Warriors. And, well, Huss. You're going to be thinking about it. You're going to be thinking about it for a long time. Sydney Drop Bears, that was the team that Huss could have been on, but he chose Warriors.
Yep. 5 wins to start the season off, and then these 3 defeats at the back end just send the Warriors home. What a shame we don't get to see them in the big arena. But you reap what you sow. They didn't manage to put the results up at the back of the season.
Yeah, that's crazy from Sydney Drop Bears. I mean, yeah, you talk about 5 in a row for Warriors to start the season. For Sydney Drop Bears, they had a loss, then a win, then a loss, then a win, then a win, and then a loss. Like, it was just backwards and forwards, but we sort of saw that progression slowly but surely throughout the season and coming into playoffs here. I'd say most people actually were kind of favouring Sydney Drop Bears. I don't know, am I off the mark there?
I think on the form guide, you'd definitely favour the Sydney Drop Bears, but going into the 2-2 meta, it kind of mixes everything up. You see the DPS players on the side of Warriors, and you're very tempted to back them in. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough today. Shoyo was so good on the Diva at shutting Huss down whatever opportunity he had. We had Winter popping off as well. Winter played an exceptional game on multiple heroes. He's really sending them towards that Melbourne Esports Open. He'll have to topple Mind Freak, but something tells me that they might be the favourites in that one too.
Perhaps. We'll see what kind of work Mindfreak have been putting in over the past couple of weeks when we do get into that semi-final match. But here in the quarterfinals, now at least you've got some match experience for Sydney Drop Bears with the 2-2-2 lock, and it looked pretty decent. I mean, it wasn't phenomenal. It wasn't like I'm going to go out and call them the winners of the season just yet. Definitely was good enough to get over Warriors, but how big of a hurdle really is that after the last few weeks that we've seen from Warriors? I mean, a 0-4 to Order last couple of weeks ago, 0-3 last week against Sydney Drop Bears, now a 3-1 for Sydney Drop Bears again. So, look, it hasn't been a great end to the season for Warriors. I'm not so sure how much you can take from this for Sydney Drop Bears, but for sure, it's going to be a good challenge against Mindfreak. Another poor season, though, for Warriors. I mean, that core of that roster has been together for quite a while since Blank came back into Overwatch Contenders Australia, and every season, it's looked like this might be the season for Blank. This might be the season for Warriors. And yet, we once again find ourselves with, this time, a playoffs exit. Last time it was a semi-finals exit. The season before it was a playoffs exit. So they just don't seem to be able to get over that hurdle.
No, I think that this will bring changes finally for the organisation in the players. I think they'll start moving away from centering around one or two players, and maybe they'll try and start something fresh. They have a great org, great backing, and the backroom staff there, they know what they're doing, so I don't expect them to be out of the playoffs run for too long. I think next season they'll come back with a big vengeance.
Been saying that for a few seasons though, Smash. So
oh, I hadn't been. You lot had been.
We definitely have. I mean, I'm sure you were saying it behind closed doors.
Yeah, I thought this season they'd be bloody brilliant.
Yeah,
Because
well,
of the roster
so did
they had,
I.
But yeah, well, they proved me wrong.
They were 5-0 at one point.
They were.
How long ago that feels? It was only 3 weeks.
Well, time flies when I'm having fun, so it only feels like yesterday.
Yeah, really crazy matches from Warriors in the last few. But the same for Sydney Drop Bears. I mean, such a rise up from Sydney Drop Bears from what we saw at the start of the season. Honestly, I didn't think that we were going to see them in playoffs. I didn't think we were going to see them in semi-finals, let alone potentially at Melbourne Esports Open after I saw this roster in week 1. But they seem to have found some form. And I mean, what better time to really be finding form than in playoffs? Certainly
the right time to find form, and it's the wrong time to lose it. And now for the next game, we have to see if Order have found their form, or if they're going to continue to stumble around. They had a hard game last week versus the Melbourne Mavericks that they made a meal of, really, winning 3-2 in the end. Have they sorted everything out, ironed it all out?
Yeah, definitely a lot to think about when it comes to Order. But now, after having seen Sydney Drop Bears, I know you were talking about Mindfreak being the team that you thought might actually go down to Sydney Drop Bears in that semi-final. Still the case, or have we not seen enough from Sydney Drop Bears?
I think that it's difficult to say. When they match up on paper, it's so even. You have Addy versus Nyang, you have August versus Winter. Those two are pretty solid, pretty tight.
All right, well, time, of course, Smash for our Macca's play of the game. It's Warriors and Sydney Drop Bears, the quarterfinal here, and it's going to be Dreamer on the wrecking ball for our play of the game.
It was such a good position for him to get it off to, just behind that bridge so he didn't get interrupted, and they have to come to contest the cart. He gets the swing through off using the bridge as well, knocking them all into it, and that's how you book yourself a semi-final spot in style. Coming in from the high, dropping your mines and knocking them all in.
It's a really difficult point to find value on as the wrecking ball. Like, that's probably the only spot that you're actually going to get a decent minefield off, because you can't get a swing too easily anywhere else. But look, all of Warriors grouping up in the perfect spot for him. He gets the pile driver. I think he knocked 4 players up, which is like, how often do you really knock that many players up with a pile driver?
He had a really good one too on point 2, knocking 3 squishies up, and they managed to use their dive composition to get forward and back, so Shoyo couldn't defense matrix everything. So Dreamer played a pretty big game on that wrecking ball on Dorado. A map that I didn't think that they would pick on the side of the Warriors, but they definitely did try it out.
I feel like Dreamer's been a little bit of an unsung hero for Sydney Drop Bears this season.
I think he's been the best import. We have Modern, we have Dreamer, we have Nyang, we have Gunther. I think that Dreamer's probably been the best import so far. Gunther's made a case for it. He's played very solid on ground 0. But I think that Dreamer just edges it out for me, just because of the importance of that main tank role and how vital it is to the team's success.
And his consistency as well.
Yeah, he's been very consistent on a multitude of heroes. On the support, you're really only playing the Lucio so far this season, but Dreamer's had to play Orisa, he's had to play Ryan, he's had to play a little bit of Winston, but more Wrecking Ball than Winston.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Wrecking Ball is an enjoyable character to watch, that's for sure. Enjoyable to see Sydney Drop Bears through to the semi-final as well. It's unfortunate that we won't be seeing Warriors through to Melbourne Esports Open even. I mean, this was such an unexpected result even 2 or 3 weeks ago, but here we are, and we still have one more series to play today. It's going to be Order and Atletico. Smash is super keen for that one. I'm super keen for that one. We're going to find out who is going to be facing Ground Zero on the other side of the bracket after this break.